Have you been seeing long full skirts everywhere and thinking you might want to add one, but you have absolutely no idea how you'd wear it and you're not sure it would fit into your everyday life? Today we're going to talk about just that. I have long been a fan of long full skirts ever since I was a little kid and used to play a lot of dress up or pretend I was one of the Ingalls girls on the prairie. I love the swish, I love the feel, I love the look. And if you've watched any of my prior videos, you might be thinking, yeah, Kristen, but you always have Levi's on. And that is very true, and I am ready to try something new. So today I'm going to style 3 long full skirts that I have in my wardrobe, and I have one outlier, and I'm going to explain as I go why the outlier is considered an outlier in my wardrobe and why it probably won't get quite as much play. 2 of the skirts are real neutral and simple, and the other 2, not so much. First, I'll introduce myself. I'm Kristen from Kristen Kane Style. Welcome. I am a style and mindset coach, and that means I can help you understand why your style isn't where you want it to be. Usually it is something that's going on in your mind. It has very little to do with what's going on in your wardrobe. I know that that can be hard to hear because we think, well, no, I don't have any limiting beliefs around my style. But I promise you there is likely something going on underneath that you're not aware of if you keep trying to solve the problem, and you maybe end up with lots more clothes, but you still don't feel fabulous when you get dressed. If you would like my help, I work one-on-one with clients inside my program called Style Therapy. There is a link down below with all the details, and we can hop on a call if you would like to see if it's a good fit for you. My intent is that this video is the first in a series. Let's call it the Simple Outfit Series, because I believe that outfits should be simple. That doesn't mean you can't wear complicated, complex looks if you would like, but I am probably not the one to help you with that. Because my outfits are fundamentally simple because I like it that way. I like it that way because it makes it way easier for me to get dressed. No matter what the occasion, no matter if I'm traveling or staying home, it makes it easier for me to get dressed and look and feel like me. So for this Simple Outfit series, I'm going to start with one base item. So the base item for today is a long full skirt. That doesn't mean you couldn't use a long straight skirt. It doesn't mean you couldn't use a short full skirt. It's just this is the type of skirt that right now I am interested in. So it's what I'm going to share today. And it's also what I'm seeing in the world of trends. While I'm not someone who follows trends, I do pay attention to them. And if there's a trend I feel like I'd like to try, then I often thrift for it so that I'm not investing a ton of money in something that might not end up landing for me. Or I find the one that I really, really love and believe that I will actually wear. And I'm going to use the formula of wearing a third piece. So since the weather is still cool at my house, I live in Utah, and spring is going to take a while to get here, I'm going to be able to layer sweaters with skirts and just flat shoes and probably little socks pretty soon. If you live somewhere where it's bitter cold, or if you are watching this video when it's just heading into winter where you live, you could easily put on tights or footless leggings underneath any of the looks I'm going to create. I'm not comfortable in tights or leggings, so I really don't wear them very often. So skirts for me are mostly a slightly warmer weather, or I'm willing to have my ankles be cold outfit situation. But it's entirely up to you. You could easily layer something to keep your legs warmer. I do have a slip that I'm going to put on under one of the skirts, and when I wear the slip, it definitely gives me a little more warmth. And I'm going to use kind of the third piece formula where I'll have a top and a bottom and then put a third piece on, because I believe that it, first of all, adds warmth and adds versatility, where if you get too warm, you can take a piece off, or if you're too chilly, you can put a piece on. And I believe that it is that third piece that usually makes an outfit more interesting. Now, I understand that as it gets warmer, or if it's already warm at your house, a layer that is the third piece can be difficult because it's just too hot. So I will make another video at some point, probably in this series, as it gets warmer, where the third piece is more shoes or jewelry or some other sort of an accessory, so that you can stay cool enough but still have that element of one more thing that tips the balance and makes the outfit a little more dynamic. I'm going to talk about why I chose the pieces I chose and why I'm choosing to layer them with the skirt. I want to say also, just as a little bit of an aside, if you've not watched any of my other wardrobe videos, that could be helpful also after watching this one, because I stick to a really specific look or vibe. My color palette is very tightly dialed in. I will link the color palette video here in case you would like some help with that. My shapes are really dialed in. I like tops that hit right around my hip bone or a little bit lower. I'm not someone who wears a lot of tunics or longer sweaters or jackets or tops. So you're going to see that part of the reason it's easy for me to mix and match is because my pieces all work together. So you don't have to wear the pieces that I'm wearing or like the pieces that I'm wearing or the colors that I'm wearing. But the reason that it's going to be easy for me to mix and match all of these is because I've chosen pieces specifically that work from a proportion standpoint, but I really could have chosen a lot of other pieces that are inside my closet because all of my wardrobe is pretty much mix and match. And I want it that way. That's important to me because I want the simplicity when I get dressed. And the last thing I'll say about this series is I have considered this for a very long time, this kind of simple outfit series where I would take a piece and show you how to build outfits, show you how I would build outfits with it, how I do build outfits with it. And my perfectionism started to get in the way because I had a little bit of all or nothing thinking, which is a very classic perfectionism thing. And as that thinking goes, it's all or nothing. So my hang up was, if I can't show you all of the combinations that I would make with this skirt from my own wardrobe, then I was not actually serving in the best way. So I would do nothing, which clearly isn't serving in the best way. So I'm trying to take my perfectionist hat off and put it aside for today. I pulled some pieces that I believe will work. I have a formula that I'm going to use as I build the outfits. And if I need to make another full skirt video with more outfits in a different season or at a different time, I will. But in order to kind of put the perfectionism hat aside and just get out of the all or nothing thinking and do something, today I'm going to make the outfits I make. And if I decide it's necessary to revisit this long skirt topic in the future, I will. So this skirt, super neutral, feels like tan pants. This is from the Gap. I thrifted it. It is in a thrifting video from a few weeks ago. And it is comfortable. It feels great. It's just an easy skirt to wear. For the sake of ease today and being able to try things on, I have on this little quince silk camisole, washable silk camisole. It is almost 100% silk. I believe there is something man-made and a little bit stretchy in it. I know it's stretchy, but I think that there's a man-made fiber in there. I will link this down below. I am a Quince partner. This was gifted to me. Thank you very much, Quince. There are a few Quince pieces you will see on this rack as I go through, but this camisole it's fully lined and it's just really comfortable, and I'm thrilled that I have it. They have it in a ton of colors. So for today's formula, I'm going to start with the skirt, and then I'm going to have on either a camisole or a blouse or a t-shirt, and then I'm going to add the third piece. And my third pieces are either going to be a cardigan or a blazer or a pullover sweater. Just so you can see, those are the things I wear most often, just so you can see how I would make them work and layer them together. We'll start with cardigans because my formula is usually some sort of a top and a cardigan over top of it. That's probably of cardigan, pullover, and blazer. That is probably the piece that I wear the most often is a cardigan, just because I like them and I find them comfortable. I find them interesting, more interesting than just a crew neck or a V-neck most of the time, because I can add a layer that you can see because they have a button detail. I like this kind of grandpa shape that is a V-neck, kind of oversized. This one is Quince. It is the Fisherman cropped. I will link all of the pieces that are Quince down below. This is my newest edition. I have this in 3 colors and I wear one almost every day. I also have the longer version in a pale blue that I've shared in a different Quince video. I wear that one, but I usually just wear that one at home with comfortable pants. I don't love the proportion on me of a longer sweater. So this is below hip bone, but it's still cropped. It's still shorter. I don't love the longer length with regular outfits usually because I just tend to like it more around the hip bone. I would probably put on another necklace or two. For the sake of the video, I just have on little diamond studs and my K necklace, but I would probably layer some other pieces just to make it a little more interesting and to break up kind of all the creamy neutral. I'm not going to really focus a lot on jewelry and shoes today. I just pulled these couple pieces so that you can see what it would be like if I were to layer something a little longer so that the outfit would be a little more interesting. And then shoes for this look, I could do any number of shoes. Today I just have on little creamy colored socks because my toes are cold and I could wear socks with a lot of these options. Probably not going to wear. You could wear socks with Mary Janes, but I'm probably not going to. I would probably just do the Mary Jane plain. I could also do my ivory Converse or white Converse for that matter. I could do kind of an old school Oxford back to school vibe kind of shoe. This is Fry, the Aran. I don't believe they make it anymore, but I could certainly do that and have kind of a sock hop vibe to it with my socks or without. And all of them would work. I could also go a little out of the box and do the red Sambas, the bright red Adidas Sambas. The shoe I probably wouldn't do would be this one. So this is the Sam Edelman Lorraine loafer, and it's a really comfortable, great kind of low line loafer. I love this shoe. It often feels a little nerdy unless I have on kind of a really baggy pair of pale Levi's or something like a sweatshirt with jeans or with a pair of trousers. They feel a little bit dressy and a little bit nerdy to me on me. That doesn't mean if I were a different age and a different circumstance that they wouldn't be great, It's just on me currently, they feel a little nerdy. This just feels a little normal to me. So I would want something that was a little bit different in this outfit. This shoe is not probably the one I would choose. Where this one, it absolutely adds a little bit of interest, a little bit of color, a little pop. It's a little unexpected, but it would work with the outfit. My shoe of choice would probably be the Red Mary Janes or the Converse, either with or without socks, just because I'm the most comfortable that way. I like the pop of color with these, and I like the fact that these are much more casual, so to speak, than the skirt, so I like the way that would work. So I could theoretically do the exact same thing with the brown and a red shoe, really any one of the shoes that I showed. However, I don't love this combination. I don't mind it, but I like blue. And so when there isn't any blue and there isn't anything that feels kind of brighter and happier to me, this feels kind of drab. That does not mean it doesn't work. It just means for me personally, this probably isn't the way I would wear this. The brown sweater I would probably choose to put with the white for a little bit more of a contrast and a little less neutrality and kind of brownness. Okay, next up, this is a knit, thrifted, but knit J. Crew blazer. And I could easily wear these together. I could button this up. This collar pretty much stands up more than it folds down, but I could fold it down. I could button this up and wear it closed. It feels really proper and really preppy in the red and the navy and the cream and the khaki. So I would probably wear it more with the sneaker, which is still preppy, but it's a little more casual, a little sportier, and it would kind of bring down the preppiness. It would still be preppy because a cream Converse is still pretty preppy, but that isn't really the look that I'm going for. So this combination, as much as it works, it probably isn't going to be the way that I would wear this because it just feels a little bit, ladylike and a little bit dressy and kind of old school to me. Although it's not bad, it's just I probably would choose a t-shirt just because that's usually what I'm more comfortable in. So next up, this blazer I have not ever worn. I thrifted this when we were in Norway a couple years ago, and I just haven't really had a reason to wear it because I have great, really simple blazers, and this one has more going on. However, this blazer has a great little fit that I could easily even wear as a top with this skirt and push up the sleeves if I wanted to, roll them up, push them up. It's got kind of some grosgrain ribbon and it feels a little Sgt. Pepper Lonely Hearts Club Band-ish to me, but I like the vibe. So I would absolutely wear these two pieces together, and I could put on a little heel that would make this feel a little bit dressier. I rarely wear a heel, so for today I'm just going to show it with the flats that I would wear. I would wear these with this, absolutely. I would wear it out to lunch. I would wear it really just kind of to go anywhere, but I often choose a knit instead of a blazer because it's just more comfortable to move around in. This is comfortable, but it's more go out to dinner or go to an event kind of comfortable than just live my real life and go to the grocery store and unload groceries and put in laundry and that sort of thing. But I would absolutely wear these with it because they would bring down the kind of structure of the blazer and the skirt with a little sock when it was chilly and with no sock when it's warmer. I could put on a loafer here, but again, it feels a little mature, it feels a little stuffy, it feels a little expected because the blazer has structure, the skirt is a little bit full, but it's tan. It feels kind of like a uniform. So it's not terrible, but it doesn't feel as authentic to me because I kind of want a graphic tee or a band tee or a sweatshirt or a big chunky sweater with the loafer to kind of play with two different vibes and to create some contrast so that everything doesn't kind of feel the same. Although now that I have this blazer on, I remember why I bought it. I remember why I fell in love with it. And I guess I just need to cut the tag off and actually wear it. This one is, again, a little bit longer than my hip, but it's still within the range of kind of my hip bone. And I would probably front tuck this just so that it adds a little bit of interest at my waist and makes it not quite so long and drapey. Although this absolutely works. I would probably prefer it with either the Red Mary Jane or the Converse. I think you can see here that by keeping it simple, because all of my pieces basically have a similar vibe and a similar feel and a similar style and similar color palette, that they all work together and I really can't go wrong, which is part of why I resisted making this kind of an outfit series, because I could make countless outfits not because I'm so great at making outfits, but because my pieces all work together. There really are very few things in my wardrobe that wouldn't work with something as simple and classic as a tan skirt. So I'm showing you the ways that I would most likely and will most likely and do most likely already wear these pieces, but there are countless other ways that I could that are behind the doors because it seemed just too overwhelming. So for this, same look. I would do the red, and now that I actually look at this, the oversized nature of the sweater with the little slit and the oversized skirt, I kind of like it untucked. So I think I would probably do it like this first with either one of these shoes. I would probably layer a couple of necklaces, again, just to create a little bit more interest because this is just a lot of plain red and the whole outfit is solid. So I would probably add a couple of necklaces just to make it more interesting. So this is the organic cotton peasant blouse from Quince. I love this blouse. I actually have it in 3 colors. It is fantastic. So this feels pretty Laura Ingalls because the lacy top and the long skirt has kind of a dated period sense to it. I could easily put on the Converse, which will make it feel like there's some juxtaposition and there's a pretty lacy gauzy blouse and a really classic skirt that looks like tan pants. And then we have the sportiness of the sneakers. I could definitely do it with the Mary Jane. It's just that the Mary Jane, again, just feels sweet. The sweetness of the blouse and the sweetness of the Mary Jane doesn't feel so much like me. In order to make this feel a little more like me, if I wasn't changing anything else, I would probably tie this red sweater around my neck, let a little bit of the lacier, let a little bit of the ruffled collar show, and wear it like this. This skirt does have belt loops, so I could put on a leopard belt, which would kind of break it up a little bit. So because most of the time I'm front tucking, I don't usually wear a belt with this skirt, even though it has belt loops. They don't usually show, but I could put on a belt with this. Now this feels, though it has red in it, now it feels very much like Out of Africa, which is not a bad thing either. Meryl Streep in that movie, the outfits still today just amaze me. However, it's probably a little too costumey for my real life. So this combination, as much as it works, it's a little too dressy for me. I would want jeans. I would want to put jeans on. Then I would be fine with this outfit. But right now with the skirt, it just feels a little too sweet. So I would probably opt for a different combination altogether, or put on a shoe that doesn't feel sweet, that feels more sporty. I am not a sporty dresser. Sporty is not my vibe, but I like a sneaker. So that usually adds an element that can bring down a look that is starting to feel a little bit too ladylike and too feminine. This is just a striped top from Zara from a few years ago. Again, I still have the camisole on, but I wouldn't necessarily need it under this. I would do this hanging kind of loose and front tucked exactly like this. I could probably also do this one untucked. I don't mind this with the red shoe because this feels a little bit French and kind of nautical at the same time. I love navy and cream stripes in the spring. I like the red, kind of a little bit of play on red. It's not too patriotic, but it still has a little bit of that vibe. So I would absolutely wear these shoes with it. Definitely wear the cream Converse. I also have white Converse and I wear those all the time as well. Lately I wear more cream on top than white. And so the cream Converse is kind of a nice option as far as a sneaker that isn't quite so bright white, but I have both and I wear both. I could and would and have worn these shoes with a little sock exactly like this also. Again, if I wanted to add a little bit more detail or interest, I could put on a couple of necklaces. These two happen to match everything in the little capsule that I've pulled. I have others, but for the most part, again, all of my pieces go with all of my pieces because I have worked hard to make it that way because that is the easiest way for me to get dressed and look and feel authentically like myself. And so if you're wondering, oh, well, of course they go together, but they go together because everything in my closet really goes together. If it were a temperature where I needed an extra layer, I could also put on another layer and add the cream sweater and just allow the stripes to peek out a little bit and wear the red flat, wear the brown flat, wear the sneakers, even wear the loafers. Again, it's going to feel more ladylike. I probably am not going to do it that way, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I could do this also. Again, feels kind of like a J. Crew catalog. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it feels a little bit expected and a little bit too kind of East Coast put together as a look than I usually dress, but it doesn't mean I wouldn't do it. I would, again, do it with the sneaker, do it with the flat, back to the brown Oxford. I think all of them work. It's just a matter of what feels the most comfortable and authentic. Here's the chambray. This is authentic, even down to the red shoe. I would be okay with the Mary Jane with this, although I would probably opt to do the Samba just because it's a little bit sportier and is going to bring the outfit down so that it feels like it has a little more contrast to it. The same would be true again with the Converse. So I would probably choose one of the sneakers over the Mary Jane, but they all work. I like how the chambray makes the skirt a little less dressy versus a blouse that would feel a little bit dressier. I like the kind of work shirt of this and the way it works with the tan. This is probably the way that I am happiest wearing a skirt, especially once it gets warmer. So right now I don't have a third piece on, but I'm gonna play with a couple of these. I would do this really with any of the shoes. Probably, again, I'm gonna come back to one of these just because they're the most me, and they would kind of sandwich the Grateful Dead t-shirt with something a little casual on the bottom with the skirt in the middle. Feels way more like me because now I have something that is very casual, a vintage, faded, not particularly great color on me Grateful Dead shirt that's kind of a statement piece. And now the blazer works because it doesn't make the whole outfit feel stuffier and more elevated. It just contributes to the contrast. And again, I can do any of the shoes that I've been showing. I can do the red Mary Jane, I can do the red Samba, I can do the cream Converse. I could even do the Oxfords if I wanted to. Put the brown Oxford on with a pair of socks. This would work for me and be totally fine. I like the juxtaposition. I like the simplicity. It's a t-shirt and a knit blazer and a skirt that feels like tan pants. And then I can wear any one of the flat shoes that I'm comfortable in. I could also very happily put the cream cardigan over top of this. Again, red shoe, most likely just to bring out some of the color from this very vibrant t-shirt. The fact that I can take a base piece like the skirt and then any different top, whether it's a camisole, whether it's a t-shirt, whether it's a fine gauge sweater like the striped one, whether it's a blouse, whether it's a chambray shirt, and then add a layer if I want to. Now I realize the chambray shirt I didn't put any layers over, but that's because I rarely layer over collared shirts. It's just a thing of mine that just feels fussy. It's hard for me to be comfortable in it, but this feels much more like me. I could easily tie the red sweater around my neck. Again, a little more interest. I could do it with the red Sambas. I could do it with the Ivory Converse. Lots of options here. And there are lots of options here because my color palette is dialed in. I know what I like. I know the shapes that I like. I know that my t-shirts and sweaters and blouses primarily hit at a length that I can wear with this skirt or with the jeans that I wear. If I had lots of tunics or dusters or really wide, boxy, stiff kind of garments or really oversized blazers, the proportion wouldn't work for me. It wouldn't work for my body necessarily, but it also just wouldn't work for what I like when I put it on my body. And so these pieces all work together because I have done the work to really identify what colors do I want to wear? What shapes do I want to wear? How casual do I want to be? What works in my life as far as comfort goes? The blazer from Norway is amazing, but it is not comfortable to wear every day. And I have chosen plain blazers when I've gone out and wanted to wear a blazer in the evening or to an event. And so that one I have to challenge myself now to take the tag off and actually wear, and I will do that and I will report back. And I don't want my whole wardrobe to be made up of pieces that I have to challenge myself to wear. So if you've been here a little bit, you know my son is in a bluegrass band and I have several Theoretical Blonde t-shirts, which is the name of his band. I also have t-shirts like this, which is support live music. And so I wear these often, and I wear them with jeans and I wear them with trousers and I wear them with skirts, and I can put a blazer on over it or a cardigan. Same vibe as the concert tee, gives me the same juxtaposition and still feels super authentic for me. Now I want to kind of just make a point. This sweater I thrifted a while ago from Loft. It's super soft. I like the colors. I've worn it quite a bit. I don't dislike this look. Probably would do it with the cream sneaker or with the brown Oxford. However, this feels feminine and a little too long and not as authentic for me as the shorter, more navy and cream and red, more kind of classic colors. I like this, but I'm probably not ever going to wear this combination. So this combination would feel more authentic for me. And if I'm going to wear this shirt with this skirt, I am likely going to put on the navy blazer or one of the cardigans or tie the red sweater around my shoulders before I would wear this. And I have been struggling recently with these kind of one-off kind of rogue pieces that I like, but I realize I don't wear them very often. And that's not a problem if I don't make it a problem. But when my brain tells me, well, Kristen, you have those great pink things that last winter you loved and now you're not wearing them, I need to decide, do I want to have them in my wardrobe and wear them ever? Or am I ready to let them go because that phase where I was thrifting a lot of pink is kind of over and I don't feel as authentic in it? And there isn't any wrong answer. This is what I help my clients with. There isn't a wrong answer. You just need to decide what is your answer, and then you need to be good with it. Because the drama and the style struggles happen when we can't decide, well, shouldn't I be wearing that pink sweater more? How do I make that work? This one's longer, so it definitely changes the proportion for me, and I don't love it as much. And the color isn't as authentic for me because I'm happier in navy and cream and gray and a little pop of red now and then. But last winter, all I was thrifting were pink tops and pink sweaters. And so it's just, it's okay to change. It's okay to have a season where pink or any other color is really speaking to you, and then have the next season come and it's not really your thing anymore. I'm not suggesting investing a ton of money in something that then might not be your thing. The thrifted sweaters were a great way for me to try out pink. And it's not that I don't like it, it's just that it's not as authentic as the other colors. So this skirt is from Free People. I bought it last year. I do believe they have it again. It is just an elastic waist and full skirt. I have it on with a thrifted slip. It has pockets, which is always a nice bonus. I would wear this one exactly as is, completely untucked, just kind of loose and flowy. I would probably add a couple of necklaces. And I would say my go-to shoe is going to be the red Samba, although I could wear it with the red Mary Jane. I definitely could do it and have worn it with the Converse. This combination is very authentic for me, very comfortable. I have it on with the little camisole, but I could easily put a t-shirt on under it so that when I got warm, I could take the sweater off and just tie it around my neck. So this is where kind of the repeating the formula happens. So I'm not going to try every single combination on. I would definitely wear the Grateful Dead t-shirt with the red sweater tied around my neck or over top of me if it were chilly. I would pair it back to the navy blue blazer. I would do it with the cream sweater. So the formula works for a tan skirt or a white skirt, pretty much exactly the same. All of the shoes that I've pulled work, the necklaces that I pulled as the extras would work, and then all of the different layers are basically going to create the same look with a slightly different version just because of the colors. So I did not show this navy blue t-shirt before. Right now, obviously it's looking kind of patriotic, but I could easily do the navy blue t-shirt with either the tan skirt or the white skirt. I could easily do the navy blue t-shirt with the cream sweater with the white skirt, and I would probably opt to go back to the cream sneakers. As you can tell, this is not rocket science. This is not complicated. All of these pieces just work together. If you're old enough and from the US and remember in the olden days, the children's clothing brand Garanimals, where all of the tops, the idea was that all of the tops and all of the bottoms could just be paired together. Everything went together, boys and girls. And this is exactly that, only for grown-ups. And so the pieces can just be intermixed and matched and worn together, worn separately, and they work. What happens then is it becomes very easy to shop and to edit things out, like the pink sweater. If it turns out that that isn't really the vibe I'm going for right now, it makes it easy to build outfits for daily wear. It makes it easy to put things in a suitcase to pack for a trip because all of the pieces work together. So these skirts, yes, they're very neutral, but they're very neutral intentionally. I will show you now what happens when we add a pattern skirt to the mix and how it becomes a little more complicated. I know that this silk camisole, as great a layer as it is, it makes everything look a little more elevated because it looks like a silk camisole and it translates a little bit dressier. I am wearing it just to make it easy to keep trying things on. I wouldn't necessarily be wearing it with all of these outfits. So for starters, I could put this paisley skirt on with a cardigan, leave the cardigan long, absolutely. And then I could put it on with a sneaker to bring the whole thing down and make it more casual. Or I could put it on with the red Mary Jane or the brown Oxfords. This feels comfortable. It feels like me. The untuckedness and the slouchiness of the sweater makes it feel a little more cozy and luxurious and a little less like I'm wearing it to an office somewhere. I also have lots of other options, and it gets a little bit tricky with trying to make the skirt not feel fancy when the skirt is patterned. When the skirt is plain white cotton or plain tan cotton, it makes it much easier to wear anything on top. Obviously this with the Grateful Dead t-shirt, it's not that some wouldn't do it, it's just that's not authentic for me. And it's going to be much more complicated and more difficult to have it just feel effortless and easy. The brown sweater, definitely. I would happily pair it back to the red shoes. I would also pair it back to a sneaker. Again, I would probably add a couple of layers of necklaces just to make it a little more interesting and to kind of finish the look. Okay, so here's where it gets a little tricky. The blazer definitely feels like I'm going to an office. Now it makes the entire outfit just feel way too dressy and way too formal and way too kind of nerdy based on who I am and how I live my life. This just isn't my vibe. That does not mean that a full paisley skirt with a camisole and a navy blazer can't be your vibe. It's just this for me is not authentic. So though the pieces are in my wardrobe and theoretically the colors and the patterns and the shapes go together, they're not authentic for me, so I'm not going to wear it this way. If I were going to do this skirt with a t-shirt and a blazer, it would be something more like this. It would be something that was a little graphic or was a concert tee or a band tee that felt a little bit more unusual. It was a little bit out of left field and didn't make quite as much sense as just the camisole with the blazer. And then I would likely pair it back to sneakers. I could also opt for the graphic tee, the red sweater around my neck, or any sweater around my neck, but the red one happens to be the one I pulled. It could be navy blue, it could be gray, it could be brown, it could be cream, whatever color would work for you if this skirt were in your wardrobe, and then I can mix and match any number of the shoes. And the whiteness of the t-shirt against the creaminess of the skirt doesn't bother me because there is actually a lot of white in the paisley. You maybe can't see it from here, but there is in fact, the paisley is kind of outlined in white. It wouldn't bother me even if it wasn't, because a white t-shirt, a black t-shirt, a gray t-shirt, a chambray shirt, they kind of are neutrals that go with anything. This feels really expected to me. A chambray shirt with a paisley skirt feels a bit like an old J. Crew catalog. Not that that's a bad thing, it's just that I was around the first time, and so now it feels a little like I've already done that. If I were to add the red samba, all of a sudden it would feel a little bit unexpected. There's something about it that isn't exactly what you would think I would be wearing, which would be more the loafer or a simple flat. So I would probably opt for this shoe, and then this would feel a little more authentic. I could do this, but I feel like I'm going to an office. I'm probably never going to wear this combination. If I were going to wear this blazer in a dressy way, I would put it on with, I have a navy blue knit skirt, kind of gored, just knit panels, long. I would probably put it on with that, and I'd put on a little heel or a sparkly shoe, sparkly flat of some sort. And then I would let the blazer and the navy blue skirt kind of be a column of navy, a little bit more elevated. I'm never going to wear these two together, even though theoretically they go together. You know, by rights, they could be worn together. It's just the vibe is off. It doesn't feel like me. A word about pattern mixing. So I worked at Anthropologie here in the US for quite a while, and we did a lot of pattern mixing. And one of the most popular pattern mixings is a stripe and a floral. So this is obviously a stripe and a paisley, similar, but not exactly the same. I could absolutely do this. The colors work together. I could put it on with a sneaker. I could put it on with a red flat. There is nothing wrong with it. I just tend to not mix patterns, primarily because it's one more thing I have to think about. It's one more thing I have to pay attention to, where if this is just a plain cream top, a plain navy blue top, I don't have to think about, does it feel like it's too much? Does it feel overdone? Does it feel contrived? Am I trying too hard? Which is something I hear from clients often. I don't want to look like I'm trying too hard. I don't either. No one wants to look like they're trying too hard. So this works, but probably this is not going to be the way I'm going to wear it. I would wear this sweater back to one of the solids first, because that's going to feel more authentic for me. Okay, and lastly, quickly, same is true for the white blouse. I am probably never going to wear these two together, even though, like I said, there is white in the paisley. This just feels entirely too dressy and formal and a little bit too done. I would opt for a plain white t-shirt and a cute pair of shoes. Okay, so you can see how the all or nothing idea in my perfectionist brain made it difficult for me to start this simple outfit series, because keeping it simple with 3 skirts and an outlier and just a few tops and making outfits, obviously there are endless combinations. So I really struggle with how to make this concise enough and at the same time broad enough that you get the variety of how to make the outfits and you understand the concept of creating the formula and then just plug and play, and that it doesn't end up being a 3-hour video. So this brings me to the outlier. This skirt I thrifted. This is from Target. I don't remember what season, but I think it was one of the collabs. I think this was Who What Wear, a collab with Target. When I purchased it, my kids kind of looked at me like, that doesn't look like you. It doesn't look like me, but I absolutely love it, so I'm happy to have it. However, I realize that I don't wear it often. I'm probably never going to wear it often. So when you have something that you have and you love, but you don't wear often, the struggle often comes with the conflicting thoughts, because your brain tells you, you should be wearing that more. Why aren't you wearing that? You bought that and you're not wearing it. And that's a problem. And we need to get our brain on board with the fact that there might be a few items in our closet that are not special occasion pieces or special activity pieces like ski clothes or scuba gear that we're just not going to wear all that often. And if we're okay with that, then our brain can calm down and decide, oh, it's fine that she has that one skirt that she really never wears. The days she wears it, she loves it. So that is this kind of piece for me. So this skirt, I am not going to wear with the pieces that I showed that go with all the other things, because as you can tell, most of these pieces are cream and navy and white stripe and tan and brown, and they all work together. This is an outlier. It's a completely different vibe and a completely different wheelhouse as far as color and pattern goes than 99% of my wardrobe, which is why it's probably never going to get a lot of play. And yet it's pretty, it was thrifted, it was not a big investment, and I like the way it looks and feels. So even if I only wear it a couple of times a year, I'm okay with that. So the ways that I would wear this skirt in order to make it feel authentic, the number one easiest way would be to put it back to a concert t-shirt or a band t-shirt that is the colors that are in the skirt, and just let that pretty much be the outfit without a third piece. I could also take the graphic tee and put a blazer over it and put on my little Converse. It would feel like me, except I'm usually happier in a navy blazer. And this blazer is actually way too long for this, so I probably would not wear this. I have for spring a shorter kind of oversized blazer. I would wear that one instead. This just, it's not that I couldn't do it, but it's just way too much black blazer. This is better with jeans, so I wouldn't wear this blazer. I would pull a different blazer, but I could do a black blazer with a white graphic tee, and it would feel like me, and it would make this skirt work. What happens to me often, and I think I've talked about this here before, is when I don't have blue on, some version of blue, whether it's denim or navy or pale blue, when there's no blue in my outfit, I get a little twitchy. It sounds ridiculous, but it doesn't feel authentic. So it's not that I can't wear it, but I don't do it multiple days in a row, ever. I would never pack for a trip and not have navy blue or denim be part of the bulk of my wardrobe, because that's how I feel most authentic. That does not have to be true for you. Pink and green could be that for you, in which case most of your outfits are going to have pink and green or any other combination of colors. It's just when we know what we're happiest in and what makes us feel most authentic, and we allow that to be the bulk of our wardrobe, getting dressed becomes so much easier. When we have more outliers, and I'll even include this blazer as an outlier, this blazer's long, and so it doesn't hit at my sweet spot. And I have enough black blazers that I've thrifted over the years that I enjoy wearing, that this one with jeans didn't become so obvious to me as it did today when I put it on with the skirt. This is longer than I like, so that doesn't mean I'm going to get rid of it, but it means I'm aware of the fact that if this were my only black blazer, I would probably want to give this one up and look for one that hit more at the sweet spot that I like a top to hit. Okay, so I'm going to put this t-shirt on just so you can see what I mean here next. So again, this I would probably tuck all the way in. Super cute, nothing wrong with that. I have white Converse. The cream Converse work, but I probably would put it on with white Converse. I could also pair it back to the striped Sambas. I think the red with the hot pink, I don't have any problem with this kind of watermelon-y pink. I have no problem with that. I could, again, from a pattern mixing standpoint, this is very anthro-friendly. I probably am not going to wear it this way because it takes more thought. But if it was something where I just needed a layer in case, I could easily do it this way with a sneaker or the Sambas or black ballet flat or something like that, a little black sandal. I could easily do this. It's just that with no blue, there are only a few outfits like this that make it into my week, because I'm always happier with neutrals and blue than I am in this kind of a combination. There is no wrong answer. It's just identifying, is this more your vibe? Are you more bright colors, blacks and whites, more high contrast, or are you more neutrals or navies or denim? There's no wrong answer. It's just identifying what you like and then following that until you have a wardrobe that all works together. This was also part of my pink winter a year ago. I really love it. I rarely wear it. It doesn't feel as authentic for me. Now, there is nothing, I mean, this works by rights. There is nothing wrong with this look. It absolutely could be what I would wear somewhere. I could wear it dressier in this combination, but I'm probably never going to. It feels like too much for me. It's not simple enough. There's too much going on. It feels a little contrived. It's too extra. Doesn't mean it's not okay for someone else to wear. It doesn't mean if I looked at someone, I would say all of those things about the outfit on them. It's that on me, I know that because I know myself, and it is not, there's no authenticity here. This does not feel like me. This feels like me. This lady jacket with this t-shirt with a pair of ripped Levi's totally feels like me, not a problem. Skirt with the lady jacket and no blue in sight just doesn't feel authentic. So I'm probably never gonna wear this combination. And that is really fundamentally the key to creating a wardrobe you absolutely love wearing. It's developing the self-trust to know when I see a skirt like this when I'm thrifting, okay, it's a price point that I'm willing to invest in even if I don't wear the skirt very often ever. And I know that at the very least, I could pair it back to a plain white t-shirt. Like, yes, I have some of these and I know that would work, but I could also pair it back to a plain white t-shirt and feel really comfortable on a pretty day. When we're talking about the third piece, it can get a little bit contrived, and yet I could easily do a black cardigan on top of it. But I personally know that I am happier in neutrals and blues. And so this is great, but it's a one-off. It's a rogue piece that isn't ever going to get as much play as the rest of the pieces, which is why I said at the top, the paisley and the tan and the white are kind of where I'm starting to play with. And the paisley is kind of an outlier too, because it's a lot going on. Yet when I pair it back to the plainer, more basic tops and sweaters that I have, it works. These two are just like a pair of blue jeans. These are always going to get more play than a pair of patterned pants in my wardrobe. That's just who I am fundamentally, and it's how I create a wardrobe that just works for me no matter where I'm going, no matter what I'm doing. The pieces work together. It's plug and play. I believe that's possible for everyone. You just need to learn what truly lights you up when it comes to getting dressed, and then actually go after that. Grow the style self-trust to be wearing that no matter what anyone else says. Whether that's a long flowy skirt, as those become more on trend, or whether it's anything else that you are curious about and would like to wear, you need to start to move in that direction and give yourself permission to feel most like yourself when you're wearing something blue, and not a whole lot like yourself when you're not wearing something blue, in my case. Your case can be totally different. I know that was a lot. And as I said, this is the first in the Simple Outfit series. And it is difficult for me to show really streamlined how many outfits I can create with one or two pieces, because I can create so many outfits with my pieces that, as I said, I've always had this kind of all or nothing feeling if I can't show all of them, which I haven't even touched that. If I were to open the closet doors, I could make dozens more. That's the point of a wardrobe that works for you, of allowing yourself to really do the work to explore who you want to be when you get dressed and what components you need in your wardrobe in order to make that happen. And then just giving yourself permission to buy a skirt that you're only going to wear once in a while if that is something that works for you, and eliminate pieces that once you bring them in and love them for a season, you realize these actually aren't for me anymore. So I hope that was helpful. Please keep in mind that this is the very first of the Simple Outfit series videos, and I realize there's some fine tuning to do to be able to share a couple of items, or one specific item, in this case a couple of skirts, and make multiple outfits and show you how it works in my wardrobe, so that you can take the information I share back to your own closet, back to your own wardrobe, and make outfits and see how this works in your closet. Fundamentally, the idea here is for you to begin to see what's working and what's not working and what you could do differently in your own closet and in your own wardrobe. Because if you're watching me put these pieces together and thinking, oh, I could do that, then you run with it. And if you're watching me put these pieces together and you think, I can't do that because I don't actually have pieces that are the right length to wear with my skirts, or I don't actually have any skirts, or I don't have any great shoes that I would ever wear with a skirt, or I didn't know I could wear sneakers with a skirt, you begin to realize what you have that can work for you and what might be missing. I'm seeing that in my own wardrobe. The pieces, as I try these things on, I realize what I might be missing, what I might, wish to add, or what I might be ready to get rid of. So that's my hope, is that you are not watching this so that you can look exactly like me and dress exactly like me. I want you to see fundamentally the kind of guidelines that I'm sharing and how they work in my own wardrobe, so that you can go duplicate that and replicate that with your pieces in your color palette and your shapes and make it work for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and I will continue to create these videos so that we together can learn how to use specific pieces in our wardrobe in multiple different ways. If you would like my help really truly dissecting what's going on in your wardrobe and why you are struggling with your style, Style Therapy is a 3-month one-on-one coaching program, and it will get you results. I have never had a client leave the program without the results she came for, ever. There's a link down below. We can hop on a call if you have questions, and we can decide if it's a good fit for you. If you'd like to keep watching and learning more about outfits, I'm going to share a video right here that talks more about my philosophy about outfits. It might surprise you. I really appreciate your support. I hope you have a beautiful week, and I will be back next Friday.